Hey, it's Gino. I live in Northern Michigan and I help people buy and sell homes every day. I love this area, the lakes, the peace, and the people, but I also believe in being honest. And the truth is, not everyone stays in Northern Michigan forever. So in this video, I'm breaking down 10 reasons why people are leaving Northern Michigan. Whether you're thinking about moving here, already live here, or on the fence about whether you're going to stay here or not, this is the perspective that most people don't share. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button for honest opinions about what it's really like to live in Northern Michigan. The good, the bad, and everything in between. The first reason that a lot of people are leaving Northern Michigan is because the winters are long and harsh. Northern Michigan winters are no joke. We're talking about consistent snowfall, sometimes from October till April, and temperatures that regularly dip below 0 degrees. Now, some people in Northern Michigan love winter. They love being a short drive to major ski hills. They love being able to snowmobile out their back door and even ice fish on the frozen lakes. And there's even a group of people that thinks it's just pretty to watch it snow. But for others, it becomes exhausting. Clearing your driveway daily, sometimes multiple times a day, driving on icy roads, and fighting off seasonal depression, which comes from the lack of sunlight. Over time, it just wears people down. And many who have moved here dream of more mild climates like North Carolina or even Tennessee. And I think that's one of the major aspects you need to determine when deciding if Northern Michigan is right for you. And now I've had a lot of people who have had winters in Northern Michigan make or break their decision to relocate here. Because let's face it, if you don't like cold weather and snow, you're not gonna like living in Northern Michigan year round. Another reason people are leaving Northern Michigan are limited job opportunities. This part of the state has a much more limited job market compared to other metro areas. While tourism, construction, education, and even healthcare provide jobs to locals, there's no corporate headquarters or large manufacturing plants to sustain a strong job market. There's also no tech startups or really any other high salary jobs. Remote work has made it much easier for people to be able to work in Northern Michigan and also afford to live in Northern Michigan. But for those without that option or even young professionals, there's just really no opportunity for advancement here. That leads us into another reason people are leaving Northern Michigan: the rise in cost of living in comparison to the wages you can earn in this area. Let's face it, house prices in Northern Michigan continue to climb, especially since the pandemic, where a lot of areas have seen house values double and sometimes even more than double. I always say that the pandemic shined a spotlight on Northern Michigan. People from around the country who had never even heard of Northern Michigan were suddenly buying houses here. Not to mention, Northern Michigan has always been an area where people like to vacation and also retire. And now, while home values have gone up, local wages have not gone up at the same pace. This is creating a gap between what the people who work in Northern Michigan can afford and what the houses actually cost. This has hit the first-time home buyer segment of the market particularly hard. Unless you've saved up a lot of money, sold a house elsewhere, or have help from family members, buying your first home in Northern Michigan can be very difficult. That's why people are leaving Northern Michigan to areas where the balance between what they can earn and what a house costs is more in their favor. Also, if you're looking for a big, vibrant social scene, clubs, places to dance, or even live music, Northern Michigan might feel underwhelming. While there are seasonal events, craft breweries, and a few fun spots, most places, even downtown, shut down early. Many restaurants close by 9, and most of the bars close at 10 or 11 just after that. So hey, it's either a bonfire with your friends or a nice, quiet night at home. For most people, especially young adults, they just need a little bit more excitement than that. The slower pace and limited nightlife options can be a deal breaker. And if you're thinking about retiring in Northern Michigan, limited healthcare access could be a big deal to you. Now, while we have great health systems in Northern Michigan, if you need a specialized or some sort of specialized care, you're going to find yourself driving to one of the larger areas in the state. If you find yourself in need of an oncologist or neurologist, you might be driving as far as Grand Rapids, Detroit, or Ann Arbor to find that specialized care. And let's face it, when you're going through those health issues, you don't want a 3-hour drive each way to see a doctor. For seniors with chronic conditions or families with special needs, the lack of close by top tier specialists might make staying here a deal breaker. As we cross the halfway point of the list, drop a comment below. What is something that Northern Michigan doesn't have that you wish it did? Now, Northern Michigan has a few community college, and satellite campuses, but there's really no higher education options directly here. So if your child is looking for a university or a state college, they're going to have to leave the area. And what happens when they leave the area, they generally don't return. This leads to the cycle of people leaving Northern Michigan for school and then ending up building their lives elsewhere. For parents raising kids or employers trying to hire young professionals, this creates challenges that ripple across the community. Northern Michigan has become increasingly popular with retirees, and for good reason. It's peaceful, beautiful, and relaxing. But the influx of retirees mixed with the outflow of young professionals has created a noticeable age imbalance in many towns. This affects everything from community events to even school enrollment. Now, I've heard some younger families say they feel isolated in some towns, causing them to seek other areas to live. Another issue I've heard from people who have relocated to Northern Michigan is that you need a car for everything. Public transportation is non-existent in most parts of Northern Michigan. If you want to go to work, pick up friends, or visit the grocery store, you'll need a car. And in the winter, your car better have four-wheel drive. This makes the area very difficult for people who either can't or don't want to drive, especially seniors or teenagers. It also adds a cost to living here. Fuel, maintenance, insurance, and time spent driving are all a normal part of living in Northern Michigan. Also, the seasonal economy can be unpredictable. Look, I've lived in Northern Michigan my entire life, and my entire 22-year real estate career has been spent right here in Northern Michigan. So I am more than familiar with the seasonalities of living in Northern Michigan. Whether you own a hotel, restaurant, or just a corner store, you're likely going to make 90% of your yearly income in 100 days. If you add any disruption to that, it can be detrimental to your business. In fact, as a real estate agent, I am super busy 6 months out of the year and not as busy the other 6 months out of the year. It definitely takes getting some used to in terms of managing resources. So if you're looking for year-round stability in your business, Northern Michigan might not be for you. The peaceful rural lifestyle is one of the main reasons people relocate to Northern Michigan, but it can also be one of the reasons they choose to leave. Without a strong community or local connections, some people feel isolated. Long winters can make that even worse. Now, there are some areas that you can go to the local coffee shop and chat up people or meet friends on the street, but other areas in Northern Michigan are simply too rural for that to happen. So when you're deciding where to move in Northern Michigan, take into account how social you're going to need to be. If you're a people person and thrive off energy from other people, you're going to want to find an area that aligns with that more than some others. So those are the reasons people are choosing to leave Northern Michigan. I'm not sharing this to scare you. I'm sharing this so you have an honest picture of what it's actually like to live here. If you're thinking about relocating here, or if you're already here and questioning whether this is the right fit for you or not, I don't just sell houses. I help people navigate each stage of their life. And after watching this video, if you'd like to learn more about what it's actually like to live in Northern Michigan, feel free to reach out to me directly at 231-487-6141, and I'll see you on the next video.